Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day two of mastering performance testing using Neoload tool. So, in day one session, I have given my introduction as well as I have explained like what is Neoload, okay, and what are the features of Neoload, and also we discussed about the comparison of JMeter, Load Runner, as well as Neoload, and out of all the features, like which tool is better and which for which type of application which tool is better. So we discussed those points in our yesterday's session. So in continuation with that, in today's session we'll discuss some more important points. Okay, so most of you already know the structure of URL, right? I hope like everyone know the structure of URL, how the URL is divided. So I know it's a very basic topic, but still everyone, like, hope everyone knows the structure of URL, right? How the URL got divided. So today's agenda, I'm going to start with the structure of URL, and I'll give on a high level view. I'll show you the diagram, and then we'll go and discuss about types of software environments, and then we'll discuss some basic PT terminology, and immediately we'll jump into the Neoload architecture, and we'll try to install Neoload tool, and we are going to record a scenario using Neoload. So these things we'll discuss in today's session. Okay. Coming to the structure of URL, this is what the structure of URL looks like. So I hope like everyone knows this particular part already, but on a high level, so this particular structure of URL is divided mainly into like five different types: scheme, host, path, query string, and fragment. Okay, scheme represents the HTTPS, that is the protocol here. So whatever may be the protocol that represents this scheme. And host or domain, right? Host especially is divided into three different types: subdomain, domain, as well as TLD. Okay, so again, path divided into subdirectories. Okay, multiple subdirectories, and whatever that you are going to see after this question mark, right? So this question mark onwards, if you are going to see something, right, those are query strings. Most of the query strings are having like parameters, and each and every parameter is going to have like key value pairs. So these things are going to be really useful for us going forward once if we start working on the Neoload tool. Not only on Neoload tool, any performance testing tool. These are the very basic parts. And after this hash, whatever that you are going to see, that is nothing but your fragment. Okay, which represents like either it may be the top side or bottom side where that exact pattern is there. So that represents the fragment part here. And what is TLD? TLD represents like top level domain. Okay, TLD represents the top level domain. So I don't want to go in depth into this as you all are working here, right? So most of you already know what all these terms are, right? I just don't want to go in depth of this, but yeah, this is what the structure of URL is going to look like. So what exactly we'll do is we'll jump into the next part and we'll try to understand different types of environments. Again, so once the application development got started, so where they are going to develop the code, they will develop the code in the development environment. So obviously developers will use the development environment or dev environment in short form, and here they are going to develop the application. Once the development got completed, they will move that build to the testing environment, right? So here the testers or the QA engineers will come into the picture and they start testing the application here in the testing environment. So once the application is tested properly, then that code is going to be moved to staging environment. So here again in the staging environment, we are like QA engineers as well as clients. Okay, so this staging environments clients will use for UAT also sometimes. UAT means user acceptance testing. So obviously for the user acceptance testing purpose also, the staging environment is going to be used. Once if everything is good here, then this code is going to be moved to production. This is what the pattern is. So production environment is nothing but live environment where the end users are going to access the application. So in our case, we are going to work on an e-commerce application. Okay, so which is nothing but Nop Commerce application. Yesterday we discussed, I showed you the application on a high level, right? So again, whatever that application, it is already developed. We can consider that environment as a test environment. Okay, so we are going to test everything in the test environment. So with the URL, whatever that I have. So that URL, whatever that I'm going to use, right? That URL is going to be accessible from my local only. So you can't access that URL from outside. So, but how you are going to do it, as I mentioned, I'll explain you how you are going to install that application on your laptops. And once after installing that application, then you are going to start using that application and we are going to do all the test executions on that application, which is hosted on your local, okay, on your machine. So consider that as the test environment. Your laptop is the test environment in our case. Okay, let's quickly jump into some of the basic PT terminology. Again, I don't want to go with the theory part here. So all of you know this part anyhow, but let me quickly open the developer tools. I hope everyone knows the developer tools concept, right? And in the developer tools as a performance tester, we are going to use the network tab. And we have multiple options here. How many of you use these options? And how many of you know what is preserve log and what is disable cache? Can anyone please let me know what is the use of this preserve log and what is the use of this disable cache? Have you ever used these two options?
I think by using the preserve log, we can record the request.
We can store the request. Even if we move to next page, we can store the request. Yes. What about the disable cache? If you use this disable,
Maybe just for the delete the your cache memory.
yes, yeah. If we are going to select this checkbox, then it is gonna disable or clear the cache memory every time. So what happens once if you load any application is nothing but it will store the application related images or the CSV files, sorry, CSS files or JavaScript files, right? Those files are going to be stored in the cache memory. So whenever if you are accessing the same application again, instead of downloading that particular request from the server, so what your browser will do is it will just pull that particular request information from the cache memory. So obviously there will be some effect on the response times because of that. So whenever if you select this option, obviously what will happen is it will clear the cache memory and every time it is going to download all the resources from the server instead of downloading from the browser's cache memory. Okay, if we want, we can check that. So what I'll do is for now, I'll just disable this cache memory and I'll click like home button here. See, once if I click home button, obviously the home page is going to load. As this is a, yeah, sorry. Sorry guys, my voice is not good today. Sorry for that. And if you see here, right, once if you click on home button, you can able to see a total of some 35 requests are sent to the server, right? So while launching this application, a total of 35 requests got sent to the server, and each and every request is going to get some response, and each and every request is going to have some size. So again, if you observe each and every request response time also we can see here. Each and every request, how much time it has taken to load that particular page, we can see here. So for the first time, whenever if you are loading this loading this application, right, all the images you can observe here, all the images and other things. Okay, so they got downloaded from the server. How I am saying that? By seeing the size. If you see the size over here, you can see like 8 KB, 14 KB. So each and every image size you can see clearly here, right? But if I clear this and if I reload the same page again, now see what will happen. What happened here? Previously, under the size column, we are able to see the size related information, but under the size column right now, we are able to see the details as memory cache. That means all these CSV files, images, right? CSS files, images, PNGs, right? WebP files, all these files are loaded from the cache memory instead of downloading it from the server, right? So that's the thing. But if I select this disable cache, right? Now I will clear everything and I'm selecting the disable cache right now and I'm loading this page again. Now see here what happened. Again, all the resources got downloaded from the server instead of downloading from the cache memory. Okay, this is what the use of the disable cache option. Okay, so I know I just want to discuss only few points which you don't know. Why? Because most of you already aware of all these points, but still, what I feel is if there are some points which a performance tester need to know, so that's the reason why I'm just bringing this point. And whenever if you are trying to launch any kind of application to verify the response times, right? Obviously, what I'll suggest is go with the incognito mode. That is the first thing, and even if you are using the incognito mode and if you are opening the developer tools and if you are verifying it, just select this disable cache button and then verify it. Yeah, Gauri, you have some question, right? Go ahead.
Yes, I want to know because in disable, we have disabled the cache memory, the checkbox. Is it done in the server of the cache memory?
It's browser's cache, not the server's cache.
Sorry.
It's browser's cache memory, not the server one.
Okay. It is only included from the browser. Is that right?
Sorry?
No, that is only from the browser cache memory, not from the server cache memory,
See,
right?
what will happen is once if you are downloading the CSS file, okay, generally what your browser will do is it will store that CSS file, right, in the cache memory. Browser will have some memory. That memory we are going to call it as cache memory. So in the cache memory, this CSS file will go and store there. Okay. Now, whenever if you are asking or requesting the same CSS file, right, then what will happen? Instead of downloading that from the server, okay, whatever that is available in the cache memory, it will pull that information from the cache memory. Okay. So if you select this option right now, what will happen? Your cache memory will be cleared. That means whatever the data that got stored in the cache memory, every time it is going to clear. Okay. Hope it is clear now.
One second. Let me ask another question. Because I just want to confirm whether I can understand or not. Okay. We can use the preserve and disable cache together, or we have any other special scenario to use this one by one.
No, your voice is not clear. Is it only for me or is it for everyone? There is some disturbance coming from your headset or something.
Wait. I'm just connecting from my mobile data.
Okay.
What I think so.
Okay.
Okay. My question is whether we can use the preserve block check tab and disable cache together, or is there any special scenario we have to use it one by one?
No, preserve log is completely different. I didn't discuss about that preserve log yet. Okay. So there is no relationship between disable cache as well as preserve log. Okay. So there is no relationship. Yeah.
Okay. We can choose multiple, right?
Yeah, we can choose both or we can choose any one according to our requirement. It's not a big deal.
Okay. There is not a special scenario. We have to choose both or one, right?
No, there is no such kind of thing. Always make sure that even while you are working on any performance testing tool, okay, the cache should be cleared. Whether it may be load runner or JMeter or Neoload, okay, always the cache should be cleared. So here how the cache memory is going to be cleared in developer tools is nothing but by using this option. In the same way, in performance testing tools like Neoload, Load Runner, and JMeter. So, for example, if I take JMeter, we have HTTP cookie and cache managers to clear the cookie as well as cache memory. And in Load Runner, we are going to write the functions. Okay, so web functions are there. So web clear cookie and cache functions are there. So we are going to use that functions. And in Neoload, we have again cache clearing options are there. So I'll discuss about that going forward.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, cool. Now let's try to understand what is the use of this preserve log. Okay, so preserve log is nothing but see total we have like 35 requests right now, which starts from like 192.168.1.3 and ends with this favicon.ico, and after that we have one collect call, right? So if I'm going to uncheck this preserve log, what will happen is if I click on any button, right, the entire data that we have here is got cleared, right? Previously we have 35 requests, right? But that entire data got cleared and we are able to see only 11 requests that are related to this register button, right? Whereas if I'm going to select this preserve log and if I click on any button, now what will happen? Whatever the register button 11 requests are there, those are as it is going to be stored here. And along with that, the login related requests you can see here. Okay. So previously it was 11, but now it's 24. Okay. So in this way, it's gonna work. The preserve log is gonna work. So why we need to do this means again, in order to convert this information to a har file going forward, okay, we'll use this option called preserve log. So again, wherever it is required and whenever it is required, I'll bring this topic and I'll explain the use of this. But on a high level, to store the information, we are going to use this preserve log option. So what my intention to discuss here is, so let us say when I'm trying to launch this application, right? When I'm trying to launch this application, so I'm trying to launch this application by sending, by hitting one URL here, right? What happens immediately? One request is going to send to the server, right? And how these requests are loading? My question here is, we are sending only one request to the server. We are hitting only this URL. But my question here is how these requests are loading. We are not sending any JPG requests over here, right? How all these requests are getting loaded here? Can anyone answer me? We are sending only this request, right? 192.168.1.3. Only one request should go to the server. But why these many requests are being sent to the server? And why the server is responding to all these requests? Yes, go ahead, Gauri.
We are clicking from at the network tab. So the entire thing the entire request start getting loaded in this page, I think so.
No, from where it is getting loaded? We are sending only one request, right? But these requests, how it is being sent to the server? That is what my question is.
Give me some more time.
Okay. Anyone, any other who want to try? Yeah, please tell me, even though it is wrong, that's fine. Totally fine. How the other requests are getting loaded? How other requests are being sent to the server? Ajita, Navina, Manikanta, Rakesh, Patan. Please answer, guys. Any idea? At least yes or no?
No, I think when we are hitting the particular browser, that related image or the content, whatever downstream related requests all are hitting.
How those requests are being called? See, that's what, right? Browser don't have that information, right? Browser is not going to have that information. So what request that this particular application is having, right? Browser don't know that, but how it is being called. So once, how we can verify that? How we can verify that is nothing but with the help of this waterfall model. You can verify here which particular request sent first. We have like total 35 requests, right? In that, which particular request sent first? The first one. You can see the first one sent first here, right? How I am saying like the first one means you can see this is the request which started here and got ended here, right? After the first request response got completely downloaded from the server, then all the other requests got started here. You can see here the waterfall model, all the other requests started here, right? And again, if you observe this request, okay, and these two, right? That means total 4 to 5 or 6 requests are parallelly downloading here, are parallelly sending the request to the server, and are getting the response parallelly. Okay, so this is the browser capability, right? But how the browser should know that we need to send this particular request only or this particular request only is nothing but in the response, whatever that you got, right? In the response of this first request, whatever that you got, okay, these requests information should be there. Then only it will call, right? In the response of this particular request, right, the first request, we are having some css files, javascript files, and some images related information. If you just go through this particular response, right, properly, so here internally we are saying to load some of the images, css files related information. Okay, you can see some of the information here. In this case, we are asking to load logo.png. Okay, and in the same way we have some other places where we can see the information related to JavaScript files or CSS files related page loading messages here, right? So because of that, what will happen? All these images or requests are going to send to the server. Okay, so if you see the logo.png we have seen, right? So that is there in the response of this. In the same way, you can see the JavaScript as well as CSS file related information also. So what will happen? Immediately these 3 or 4 requests will load after getting the response. And in the JavaScript as well as CSS, again, if you observe, okay, you will see some of the other images or some of the other required files are being sent from the response of this JavaScript files or CSS files. So in this way, what will happen? All the requests are going to send to the server. And how these requests are going to send to the server one after another means no. 6 requests or 8 requests parallelly at a time are going to send to the server here. Are we clear with this part? Now are we good? Like how we are getting all these requests or how these many requests are being sent to the server? Any questions in this or any concerns? Please feel free. I'm open to know new things for sure.
I'm sorry. I have to get clear what the green color and the blue color of this gate. Can you please explain that?
Yeah, I'll discuss this in the coming sessions. Why? Because in order to explain that, I need to explain all the related response times related and full page response time related concept. We have that as a part of training. Okay, let me show you that as you asked. This. Okay, there is one separate session wherein I'm going to explain clearly the full page response time. Okay, so here I'll explain each and everything, whatever the content download, redirect, DNS lookup. So whatever that you are going to see here, everything you can see the blue line is the content download. Okay, and the green line is waiting for server response, right? So I'll explain all these things in our coming sessions.
Okay.
Okay. So this is like most of the topics, whatever that you guys don't know, I'll discuss those points for sure. No doubt in that. Okay. So we'll discuss that going forward. But for now, as per this part, are we good? Any questions here? How these requests are getting loaded? Okay, considering that as S, right? So now what I'm trying to say here is, let us say if I am trying to launch one particular page, right? These many requests are sending to the server, right? Request is nothing but, in this case, request is nothing but, let me give you the definition of request. Most of you know that, but request is nothing but it's a single call or interaction made to the application. So each and every single call, we are going to call it as a request. This is one request, this is one request, this is one request. Each and every single call which is going to interact with the server, that is nothing but your request. Right? So total we have 35 requests. So group of these requests we are going to call as transaction. So here launching the page is one transaction. So if I will launch the page, these many requests will send to the server. And always remember, we whenever if you are doing the performance testing, we need to take care of, or we need to make sure that all these requests are loading on our application. Okay, then only you are going to be a good performance tester or engineer. If you are going to ignore the images and other things, obviously your performance testing results are not proper. Make sure of this. Okay, so group of requests, we are going to call it as a transaction, right? So in this case, launch is one transaction. In the same way, right? In the same way, if I click on register, right? I'm going to call this register also as another transaction. Why? Because once if I click on register button, I'm able to see group of requests here. So whenever if we are sending the request to the server, then only we should consider that as a transaction. Otherwise, we should not consider that as a transaction. Remember. So like this group of transactions like launch, register, right? And filling the details and clicking on the register button, right? So each and everything is a transaction here. So group of these transactions will form one scenario. Okay. So let us say I need to do user registration flow. Okay, I need to do user registration flow. In that user registration flow, what are the different transactions that we are going to have? So transaction one is launch, and this launch is going to have multiple requests. Okay, multiple requests. Okay, so the pattern should be like this. Let me put it this way. Okay, so scenario. Okay, this is going to be like scenario. User registration is a scenario here for us. And launch is a transaction. We are going to call the launch as a transaction, and transaction is going to have group of requests, right? So transaction is going to have multiple requests, and group of these transactions like launch, register, and other transactions, we are going to call it as scenario, and group of scenarios, we are going to call it as suite. Okay, suite is nothing but group of scenarios. Group of scenarios. So this terminology I'm going to use going forward as a part of this training. So that's the reason why I'm taking some time to explain this part. Most of you know this, but again, it's kind of a recap for us. Okay. So with this basic terminology, we'll try to jump into the next major part, that is the Neoload architecture. So any other names or any other terminology that you guys are using on your companies while working on your companies? Please let me know. Hope everyone is using the same terminology, right? Okay. Considering that as yes, let's try to jump into the Neoload architecture part. So this is the Neoload architecture, guys. So Neoload architecture starts with the Neoload controller. At the top of the architecture, you will see the controller part. So what the controller will do is it acts as a central command unit. I can say like this controller is a central command unit. So which is responsible for managing and orchestrating the load testing process. So which is going to play the key role in managing and orchestrating the load testing process. So what we can do with the controller? So controller here is nothing but your machine. Let us say I have one laptop. If I am installing Neoload on my laptop, so my laptop is going to be the controller. So what I can do with the controller? I can record the Neoload scripts with the help of controller. I can simply do the test execution setup on the controller, and I can run the test also on the controller. Even though if you don't have LGs, your controller itself will work as an LG. LG is nothing but load generator. Okay, so these are all the different things that your controller will do. So let us say we have one controller, okay, and two different types of load generators, right? So what the controller will do is it will send the command to the load generators to execute the test. So generally there are two different types of load generators that are available. One is cloud load generator and the second one is on-premise load generator. Okay, cloud load generator symbol is going to look like this with the symbol called cloud, and on-premise means you'll see some home kind of icon. Okay, these are the icons that we have for the cloud load generators as well as on-premise load generators. So what the controller will do once after recording the script and once after doing the scripting enhancements and test execution setup, so you need to trigger the test. In order to trigger the test, you'll set up one command here in the controller. So you will add all these LGs, whether it may be the cloud load generators or on-premise load generators. You're going to add that LGs in the controller and in the test execution setup. So your controller will send one command to the load generators to start sending the request to the server. So as I mentioned, two types of cloud load generators are there, cloud as well as on-premise. So let's try to understand first what are cloud load generators. So cloud load generators are hosted on the cloud. Okay, and helps us in executing the test from multiple geolocations. So we can run the test from multiple geolocations, and also we can generate the traffic based on the real world conditions. Obviously, if you have like a Amazon kind of application, for example, so Amazon servers are going to stay in one place, and people from India and people from US and people from other countries also will access Amazon wherever it is there, right? So in order to make the particular test to go in a real world pattern, so what we generally do is we'll go and we'll use the cloud load generators. So based on the geographical location, we can trigger the test with the help of cloud load generators. So that is the advantage of cloud load generators. When it comes to the on-premise load generators, right? So these load generators are deployed locally. That means within your organization infrastructure only. Okay. And this kind of load generators, when generally we are going to use it is for intranet based applications, we are going to use this on-premise load generators. Okay. So in our last session also I told you like we have I'm going to use my desktop as a load generator, and I'll show you how you can trigger the test from the controller to the load generator, right? So once if we trigger the test on the controller, automatically it will send one command to the load generator, and your load generator will start sending the request to the server. So this is the place where your application is hosted. Okay, your application under test is hosted on the servers here, right? So we are sending the request from the Neoload to the servers right now with the help of load generators. Again, some people, right, from India, they are going to use Google Chrome. Some people they will use Mozilla. Some people they will use their laptops to send the request. Some people they will book the products from mobile, right? Some people they will book the products from tabs, right? So they'll use different types of devices and different types of networks, okay, as well as different types of browsers in order to send the request to the server. So it's universal thing, right? So anyone can use any kind of browser or any kind of device or any kind of network over here. So in order to mimic that kind of real-time behavior, so we have a good option in Neoload, that is network emulation as well as device simulation. So we have multiple devices options that are available. Once the script recording and enhancements got completed, we can choose the required device. Okay. Also, we can choose the required network, and also we can choose the required browser from which we can send the request to the server. Okay. So that is what the network emulation as well as device simulation is. Any questions till this part? Okay. Obviously, once after doing the entire setup, right, your load generators will start sending the request through the setup, whatever that we have done, to the servers. And obviously, the load, like the application is going to be there on the app server, DB server, and web server. So this entire architecture, right, the load will go and it will hit the servers. Okay, and the server will obviously give the response back, right? And in the meantime, what we can do is we can also connect your monitoring tool, APM tool, like App Dynamics or Dynatrace, whatever the tool that you want. You can connect your tool, okay, to the server, okay, with the help of your controller, and you can monitor the server related information also on the controller part, right? So on a high level, this is what the architecture is, Neoload architecture is. Any questions here? Any clarifications needed? So which type of architecture that your application have currently? Anyone, guys?
On premises.
I'm asking about architecture. Which type of application architecture?
Yeah, it's
Entire architecture, yeah. And everyone, like most of the companies, they will go with on-premise, right? But nowadays, everyone moving to cloud. So whenever if you are going to move from on-premise to cloud, right, then at that time also performance testing is required. You need to know like how your application, when it is an on-premise, right, how the application behavior is, and while moving this application from on-premise to cloud, right, how the application is behaving after moving from on-premise to cloud, right? So for that purpose also we are going to do the testing, performance testing. So in that case, what we need to do, we need to first do the performance testing on our on-premise servers, right? And we need to gather all the information related to response time, okay, related to other metrics, CPU, server, CPU, memory utilization, and other metrics. We need to gather all that information and we need to store it. Once the code got deployed on cloud servers, then again we need to do the testing and we need to compare that particular results with the on-premise results to see how the performance of the application is once after moving from on-premise to cloud. If there is some deviation, obviously we need to identify like where it is lagging with the help of the monitoring tools, and then we need to inform the developers to look into that. So obviously developers do some tweaks and those issues are going to be, those bottlenecks are going to be resolved at the end of the day. So this is how we'll work. Hope this part is clear. Any questions? Okay, cool. So as a next part, let's try to download the Neoload and install the Neoload here. Okay, so let me quickly go here. I already have Neoload on my machine, but what I'll do is I'll explain you how you can download the Neoload. So in order to download the Neoload, you need to go to browser and you need to like type download Neoload option here. And this is the first website you are going to see, like triscientist.com Neoload trial. So you need to click on the start your trial of Neoload performance testing link. So it will take you to this particular page. So here you need to provide all the details and make sure you need to provide your business email ID only here. So for sure, like everyone is working right now, so you can use your business email here and you can provide your details. So once after agreeing the terms and conditions, you can click on this get trial. So you'll get one email ID to your email. So with the registration, like a registration acceptance link. Okay, so you can click on that registration acceptance link so that the registration is going to complete, and you will get one more mail after approving that particular request. You'll get one more mail. So with that email, okay, with that email you can able to click on the link related to the Neoload SaaS. So you'll get the license and other details from the Neoload SaaS only, SaaS version of Neoload only. So for sure, everyone should register here. Then only you'll get the license of this particular tool. Obviously, we are going to get like 50 users license for free, and that too for 15 days or so. So within that time only, we need to do the test executions and other things. Once if you use that 15 days or 15 hours of license, right? Again, we need to register with one more email, or we need to ask them to extend the free license. So generally it will take some time. So what I'll suggest is, for now, just keep it as it is. If you know how to register into this application or register into the Tricentis, that's fine. Okay. What you can do for now is you can use this particular link to download the Neoload. Okay. So let me use this link to download the Neoload. So this is the Neoload downloads page. So the current version of Neoload is 2025.1.2. Okay, this is the recent version. So what generally I'll prefer is to go with the older versions first. Okay, so you need to understand which version is having this long-term support. If you see, if I hover the mouse on this version, that is Tricentis Neoload 2024.1 LTS, long-term support, right? So if I select this one, I can simply go to that particular page. Here you can see you can download the version according to your operating system. So if my operating system is Windows x64, then just click on this. It will start downloading that particular version. Okay. So in my case, it is going to start downloading this version here. So in your case, if it is x86, you can download that version also on your machine, right? So this way, you can simply download the proper version. So which version is going to have the long-term support? Better to choose that one. You can also go with the recent version, but again, this is going to be somewhat beta kind of version. So there are chances that we may get some bugs also. We may see some issues also with this version. So better, what I'll suggest is to go with the standard version, which is like 2024.1 version. Okay, so in this way we can download this, but at the time of installation, just double click on this particular file. Okay, double click on this downloaded file. It will open the installer part. Just click on next and next, right? You'll come to this particular page. Once if you click on next and next, you'll come to this particular pop-up, right? So here you have three options. One is controller, second one is load generator agent, and third one is monitoring agent, right? You can install the Neoload based on your requirement here. So always the controller is recommended. So what is the use of the controller is nothing but, so if you select the controller option, it will install the Neoload controller with embedded load generator and monitoring agent. That means complete all the three components are going to be installed. if you select the controller. If you want to use a particular machine as a load generator, then no need to install the option, no need to install with the option called controller, but you can select the option called load generator. So in that, what will happen? Only load generator agent is going to be installed, and you're not going to open the Neoload on that machine. You can't open it. You can use that particular load generator agent. You can start sending the request to the server. Okay, that means a partial installation is going to happen. In the same way, if you want to install the monitoring load runner as a monitoring agent, you can do that too. But again, this option is not feasible for us or required for us, as we are going to use the Dynatrace as a part of this training. Okay, so always choose this option while installing it and just click on next and next. It will install the Neoload on your machine, right? So once after installing the Neoload, you'll see this kind of icon, okay, on your laptop. So once if you double click on that, it will open the Neoload here. Let it open. In the meantime, any questions in the meantime? Please let me know. If questions are not there, I'll show you how we can open this Neoload and what are the components or the options that we have in Neoload. Regarding the course content, those who joined today, I already covered the course content part in yesterday's session. If you don't have that session link, please ping me on WhatsApp. Okay, I'll provide you the session link. I already shared that session link in the groups, okay, as well as with you individually, those who asked me. So please let me know if you don't have that link with you. And one drawback that I found in Neoload is it will take a lot of time to load, okay, to load initially. So this is one drawback which I found in Neoload. And sometimes if you're not using the proper version, right? So sometimes while validating the script, it is going to fail. So that is one more issue. Anyhow, we'll see those things as a part of training. I should have opened this. Did anyone install Neoload on your laptops previously? Any challenges that you faced while installing? No one? Okay. Good. Yeah. So once if you open the Neoload, right, you'll see this kind of user interface. Here you will see multiple options. The first option that we'll go with is the new project option. If you want to create a new project, we'll use this option. If you want to open the existing project, you'll go with this open project option. And if you want to use the sample project, okay, so just click on open sample project. It will open the sample project for us. And for you, for the first time, once if you like open the Neoload, right? So under the recent projects, you won't find anything. Okay. Once if you open any project, then only you'll see that particular project related file under the recent project list. Okay. So on the right hand side, you will see some documentation related part as well as the getting started with Neoload options. So these are the community related documents and Neoload related information. You can get it from here. Okay, so in order to create any project, just click on this new project and you need to provide the project name. Okay, so what I'll give the project name as Demo August. Okay, 2025. I'm just going to give the project name like this. And by default, right, once if you are creating any project, it will come and store under the documents folder. right? Under the documents folder, one Neoload projects is going to be created, and under that folder, your project is going to store. Okay. And what about this collaboration option means whenever if you want to collaborate this particular project with Git or GitHub, right? So at that time we are going to use it. But for now you can ignore these options. Okay. And you can just click on finish. And if you want to optionally add any password, that also you can do for this particular project. So anyhow, we are not going to use these two options right now. Just click on finish. Once if you click on finish, it will automatically create the project and it is gonna open the project for us. For that, it will take like a few seconds to few minutes, sometimes based on your system speed. Yeah, now we are good, right? So once the project got created, your user interface is going to change. Okay. And this user interface is pretty much easy to understand and easy to work with. Okay, so those who already know load runner, right? So in load runner, once after installing the load runner, we'll see three different components, right? What are those three different components? Those who already worked with load runner. One is Vugen, second one is controller, right? And third one is analysis, right? So those three options are those three components you can see here. Design, runtime, results. Okay, design is nothing but you can compare this design with your Vugen. Okay, runtime is nothing but you can compare this runtime with your controller. Okay, and you can compare these results with your analysis. So design is the tab or the component wherein we can record the application and we can do the script enhancements with the help of this design option. And runtime is the place where we can do the test execution setup, like how we are going to do the test execution setup in controller, right? And results is the place where we can compare the results, right? Compare multiple graphs and we can generate the PDFs, like the analysis part of your load runner. Under the design, you'll again see multiple options like user paths, populations, monitors, and connectors. Right? We'll discuss about each and every option going forward. Okay. And what is the use of this user path, right? What is the populations, right? And how we are going to use this monitors and connectors options. And under the runtime tab, if you go to runtime tab, you'll see again multiple options. And under the results tab, you'll see multiple options. We'll discuss each and every option clearly as a part of this training. But for now, understand, right? So if you go to design tab, under the design tab, you can simply start recording the application and start doing the enhancements under the design tab. And also you can simply create the populations and you can go with the monitors, like you can add your link your or integrate your Dynatrace with your Neoload or App Dynamics with your Neoload with the help of the monitors option. And here you'll see multiple actions that are available, right? In JMeter, we have multiple elements, right? Multiple controllers, especially if you go with JMeter. So under JMeter, we have a loop controller, right? And we have while controller, right? We have if controller, we have switch controller. So all those controllers part, they added here as actions under the Neoload. And we have multiple controller options that are available. So whatever that are required and mostly used, we'll discuss all those things except the Citrix and SAP GUI, right? So those related things, we can go ahead with other options, other actions too, right? So if you want to record any kind of application, then you can start clicking on this record option and then we can start doing the recording process. Again, it's already 9:30. I don't want to go ahead. Why? Because it will take again 20 minutes to explain this recording process and other things. So that part we'll cover tomorrow. So that part we are going to cover as a part of next session. Okay. So that's all for today. Thanks for attending this session.